So if you're following the chronological library and catalog of my video, you probably see that I uploaded a fourth video within a day. And why is that? Well, because I just think certain things are newsworthy, and then on top of that, certain things are better left in a segmented and a separate video topic. So that's exactly what I'm doing with this. Is breaking news. Sean Strickland punches a fan in the stomach while he was in Australia, and instead of asking for a picture, which is what Sean Strickland was probably thinking in his head, the fan automatically said, Izzy is going to smash you, he's going to kill you, or he's going to put you in a coffin, or something to that extent. Nonetheless, what is the lesson to learn here? Because every video that I have, I'm constantly giving you guys lessons with these breaking news stories that involve MMA. So what kind of story can we learn from Sean Strickland from here on? For one, you got to understand that the guy was really within his rights to do what he needed to do. Now, that may not be what you're going to do. That may not be what George St. Pierre is certainly not going to do. He's certainly not the type that's just going to go and punch a random fan based on their opinion or based on their wish of an upcoming matchup. At the same time, we don't know the full glimpse of the story. What we do know is that the fan agitated in the, in the interpretation of Sean Strickland, he was the one that's irritated enough to go and commit violence on this guy. Now, it's one thing if, let's say, maybe the guy said, well, I want to see Izzy 187 you or end you or something to that extent. I could understand why. And even if it's just a simple, well, I think Izzy's going to beat you based on this technical level or based on this matchup comparison that I'm presenting to you, then okay, maybe you're talking in a sport rather than in a term of personal endearment or in personal enjoyment of somebody else's suffering. And this is the way that Sean Strickland interpreted it, to the point where he needed to go and take action upon this guy. Now, is it a good look? Probably not. It's probably not going to go well with the immigration of Australia. And then on top of that, it is up to the hands of this fan of whether he wants to press charges or whether he wants to file a lawsuit, and how that's going to affect the upcoming fight this weekend. And if that's the case, my goodness, are they going to need a replacement to fight Israel Adesanya? And who would that be? Within this time and notice, maybe the most 48 hours that you're going to get if, let's say, the inevitable or the possibility that Sean Strickland gets taken out of this match. But so far, that's really all that we have for the news in terms of Sean Strickland punching a fan. There's not much that you can take out of it in terms of the possible recourse of action that's going to be taken against Sean Strickland, whether there's going to be a disciplinary action by the UFC or by the local law enforcement. And I can tell you this, the UFC believes that bad PR is better than no PR. Okay, they have that type of policy in their company, and they're not going to do anything in terms of what a fighter does outside of the cage. However, if the authorities of whatever governing body or law enforcement agency of any region in the world decides to do something, then the UFC must follow suit, which usually they do. I'm not saying that that's what I want them to do, but I'm saying that's historically what they've been known to do. But nonetheless, I just hope that this fight doesn't end for Israel Adesanya and Sean Strickland in the main event coming up this weekend. But either way, enjoy the fights. And hopefully there will be fights. Sean Strickland, what are you doing, man? But you know what? At the same time, you got to understand, guys. I need you guys to understand this with a firm belief in your heart, to understand that anything can happen to you. You need to really understand that. Really, really understand that. Your safety is not guaranteed. So therefore, Is it better to play nice? Is it better to just speak respectfully towards people? And I guess you could criticize them, but there's a level of criticizing and then there's a level of insult that is just a very thin line. And sometimes that is within the interpretation of the person that's receiving that message. In this case, Sean Strickland. So, be nice, I guess, is the message. But that's easier said than done, right? Because what does that even mean when we say we gotta be nice to each other? We all have different competing interests in any walk that we do in life. In this case, you had Israel Adesanya, who had a fan compelled enough to go up to Sean Strickland, and instead of taking a picture like a regular UFC fan for something that he could post as some sports memorabilia for the future, he instead goes and insults Sean Strickland, who, by the way, could potentially be the champion this weekend. We all know that we're giving Izzy the fight already, and he is the heavy favorite, but the fight hasn't happened yet. And if he does become champion, that may have been a picture that guy may have regretted to never taken.